All right, all right. Welcome back to the Military Retirement Podcast, streaming everywhere. Facebook, I think we're on LinkedIn right now, the Green Logbook, Military Retirement Podcast. And John, I don't know if you want to put it on your LinkedIn. I try to, or your Facebook. I try to, and it's not linking for some reason. We'll figure that out. Some Adam stuff. Anyhow, it was on the Military Retirement Podcast Facebook. We will get it done. How's everybody out there doing? How you doing, John?
Morning. Good morning, or good afternoon, depending on where you're at. I'm doing good. Becoming more and more of an old man every single day. Joints are hurting, pain. It's the struggle is real, but yeah, doing good.
Awesome. You know, Navy Cop. Hey, welcome, Navy Cop. Morning. He says, you're on the wrong sides. Good morning, gents. So let's switch them up real quick. How's that? Is that what we mean? We're on the wrong side. Now we're on the right sides, I guess. See?
West
Can't be
Coast,
having the
West Coast, East Coast.
I suppose, right? Brian Hahn, welcome, man. Good morning, everyone. Happy Father's Day. Yeah, so I want to kick it off like that. Happy Father's Day to everybody out there, all the fathers who are doing the damn thing. Truly appreciate what you're doing. So today is your day. Make it a great one. Curious what plans people have for Father's Day today. You got any plans there, John?
My plans are chill. I did all my plans this morning. Run around, do some honey-do list stuff, take care of some stuff, and make lunch. Tacos for lunch.
Tacos for lunch, yeah. That's it's tacos are great, but then when you live like in San Diego, they're like fully accessible at all times.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, Taco Tuesday has become Taco Tuesday, Taco Wednesday if I don't have a plan, Taco Thursday maybe if the wife is working late or I'm like working late and we need to do something really quick, so you can get them anywhere. But they're freaking delicious though, so can't hate on that, man. Tacos.
Unfortunately, can't get them everywhere here, and that's part of the problem. I mean, it's part of the problem. It's a good problem to have where I don't eat tacos every day because I would eat tacos every day if I could. But then it allows me to get in the kitchen, learn how to make carne asada and pastor and all them fun things. So
you make pastor, like you actually have like the spit that rotates?
No, I wish I did. I wish I had.
That's delicious, man. There's delicious. There's that place in Vegas. When you went in Vegas, Tacos El Gordo. Did you ever go there?
Yeah, it was good. It was really good.
Dude, it's kind of a messy thing, right? You got to get in the right line and you got to order the right thing, right? Because only one line does one thing. But man, dude, I went and ate a quesadilla. They make quesadillas a little bit different there.
Yeah,
it's like two tortillas on top of each other instead of just folded over. Dude, I think about that place all the time, man. They have one here somewhere in San Diego. I'm trying to get to it, but it's a little far away. Let's see who do we got in the comments here. Navy Cop, so much better. T-shirt has arrived. Hey, dude, I'm happy it has arrived, man. I'm sorry it took so long. I sent Navy Cop over a Green Logbook T-shirt, man.
Yeah,
he's been around since day one, and he is. He's a moderator. He's a member. So I had to send him a little love, right? So I'm glad everything got to you okay, man. Let me see. Rich Salinas, happy Father's Day. Hey, you as well, man. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, Brian Hahn, I'm traveling with the family today. Had a nice vacation in North Carolina. Right on, dude. Awesome. Don't tell me you spent the whole time in Camp Lejeune. Did you do something else, like go to Chimney Rock or... I love North Carolina, dude. I love it. Let me see. Navy Cop. I worked a Kid Cudi concert last night. Horrible music. Dude, I was thinking about going to the Kid Cudi concert. They have them for free on VetTix. And I was looking at it. I'm like, I know about Kid Cudi. I was thinking about going, but horrible music, in my opinion. But an extra paycheck. Went to bed at 1:30. Wow. At 57, my body's not recuperating from last night as much as it used to be. Holy crap, man. Yeah, man, I cannot, dude. I'm on Rich Salinas time, right? The other day I was on Rich Salinas's live stream, and he mentioned his bedtime is like 9:30, and I'm thinking Yeah, I'm about the same, right? There's nothing for me that's happening unless it's like the World Cup last night with Japan just dominating. I'm not staying up past what 11 o'clock, maybe even 10:30. So can't do
I
it, man.
wish. I wish.
Dude. Shout out to Ryan, Patrick Hunt, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's go. I like that. Yeah, dude. Hey, Navy Cop, shout out. Yeah, Rich Salinas has some good shorts on his channel, dude. Just spurts of motivation to start your day. John, have you seen Rich Salinas' channel?
Nope, not at all. Am I missing something? Did I miss out? I've been trying to do homework. That's why I haven't done anything else.
No worry, man. So Rich Salinas, yeah, I think his channel is just literally at Rich Salinas, right? And this man is a retired Army major, and he does a lot of these walk and talk videos, and they're just like spurts of motivation. I think I caught him yesterday or the day before. I can't recall when the live stream was, and he was talking about, I can't, oh gosh, it was, if you can remind me, Rich, what the topic was about, but it was good. It was good, man. He was sitting at his chair talking some good stuff, and yeah, I'm learning. So likewise, Rich, cranking out shorts and trying to learn
man.
how to do this. Yeah. But what I would say is don't get yourself trapped into the shorts side of things, right? Because then you can never, it's very hard to get back into the long form video if you're doing a lot of shorts. So, because then you become known as a shorts guy, and it's hard to get views when you put out long form video. Yeah, it was on travel claims. That's right. Yeah, man. So, John, dude, this whole week has been a week of sports, and something that I enjoy watching, especially when my kids come out and watch it with me. We do watch the USA games. We do watch the Japan games because there's part of my family's Japanese, and it's great, dude. It went from the UFC to what 250, which is good, man. I like the fights. Not a big fan of how all these things were being used, like the silent drill team and all that. But I will say the actual fights were pretty exciting. A lot of twists and turns, and a lot of things that I wasn't expecting. Like Pereira and what's the other guy, Gaethje and Topuria. Man, it was pretty damn good. So good entertainment all around. And then we got into the World Cup, which is amazing. I watch soccer all the freaking time, so I love that stuff. And what else is there, man? Is there some other sports going on that I'm trying to keep track of everything, man? Anyhow, that's been my life here. What about you?
I mean, I try to keep up with Formula One. That's kind of my thing. Formula One. I watch it. I don't watch the whole races all the time, but I do like the qualifiers and the practice rounds. And they had to take a big break this year because they usually do like Azerbaijan. They do a bunch of Middle East countries. And because of all the stuff that was going on in the Middle East between Iran and everybody else, they had to take a couple of those venues off of the list. So I don't know if they're going to revisit them sometime later in the season or not. But yeah, Formula One for me is, it's cars, it's race car driving, it's very technical engineering on these cars, the amount of money they spend on them and the amount of engineering that goes into these cars, and then seeing some of that translate back into regular car builds, right? So a lot of these cars are sponsored by Cadillac just jumped into the F1 this season. So they've got, instead they normally run 20 cars on the grid, and now they've got 22 cars on the grid because they've added Team Cadillac. One of the other teams changed back over to Audi. So Audi's back in Formula One, but to just see some of the innovations that they do on these cars, then eventually translate back into the normal car population, how they do brake management and energy management for hybrids and like different stuff like that. They take a lot of that F1 engineering and they push it back into, it's kind of like the way the military does. The military and NASA and like all these big government organizations, we do a lot of engineering on things and building these crazy cool things, And then we take some of that technology and then we translate it back into civilian life, into different things that we enjoy nowadays, like the internet. The internet's a government program from early on. Wouldn't be here without the government.
Yeah, we do adopt, or at least civilian sectors do adopt a lot from the military, right? They start it up, they see how they can use it, and then they adopt that. If you can hear some stuff in the background, I got some 3D prints going on. I'm 3D printing a dinosaur skeleton, so that's where I'm at right now. It's pretty loud if you can hear that. Yeah.
I thought your spaceship was taking off.
That's it, man. No. So yeah, man, today I wanted to, being that it's Father's Day, being that it's, and again, happy Father's Day to all the folks out there, all the fathers doing the damn thing. I wanted to do like a Father's Day check-in type of deal, right? What fatherhood looked like in uniform versus what it looks like after the military, right? After you finish serving. Do attitudes change? Would you do anything a little bit different? Do you travel a little bit more? Do you, I don't know, spend more time with your kids? Spend less time because you maybe got into another career right after the fact. What does that look like for people out there? I'm curious. And I'm asking this from a perspective of, I did mention a couple days ago that or last week, and that I have a family member who's retiring from the Navy, and I'll be doing a little bit of traveling here pretty soon. I'm doing I'm like the guest speaker at his retirement ceremony. Then immediately going from like on terminal leave to another job, and my perspective was, don't you just want to take a break and hang out with the family? He's like, no, I need to get back into something else. Got to get back into something else ASAP. I'm like, okay, I completely understand that, because you feel the need to continue the mission. But after a little bit, you're gonna think about it, I think, and want to go back and hang out with your family a little bit more. Maybe take a break from the constant mission rotation, right? And I'm curious to know how folks manage that when they were leaving the uniform. Did you go straight into another job, or did you take time to hang out with your family? Maybe like a couple months, a year? What does that look like for you? I'm napping at some point today for a few minutes, not sure. You know it was coming up. The kids aren't fantastic, but I remember busy lives, but good kids. Yeah. Ever since I stopped being on Facebook so much, and I took all the birthday announcements. Thank you very much. I took all the birthday announcements and all the the events, like what I'm doing with my kids. I don't post that many things on Facebook, and people just don't know. If you don't have it out there on social media, they will never find out. They will never contact you, right? Has that ever happened to you?
I mean, I'm on Facebook. I don't get on there and scroll through it constantly and constantly post stuff. I mean, that's not what I do. I use it for other purposes. I definitely check it every single day to check whose birthdays are on there, and I definitely send birthday wishes to every single person every single day. It's part of my morning routine. Just because I feel it's important. I feel it's important to at least reach out once a year for sure and let people know that I'm thinking about them. And then if it's somebody really close or I have their phone number, I'll give them a call. Like I gave one of my best friends a call the other day, just out of the blue, saw something and I was like, hey, I need to give him a ring. I don't really post a lot of personal stuff on Facebook or gripes or rants or anything like that. I don't really gripe or rant too much either way. I might start getting back into that business. I've been out of it for quite a while since I've been out of uniform. I used to gripe and rant a lot in uniform, and not so much now. Calm down. But no, I don't really sit there and surf. And I keep in touch with the local community here, the local military community, because they post announcements and road closings and like different stuff on there.
Of course,
for that community. And of course, curb alerts whenever they're giving away stuff or trying to sell stuff. So those are always good. Other than that, I stay away from Facebook. I stay away from most of the social media unless something comes across my screen that looks important or worth my while, which is usually like Army WTF moments or some of the Reddit channels that I'm a member of that are veteran centric. They have like X accounts tied to those Reddit channels, so they'll post the stuff from Reddit to X, and that's where I get like some of the highlight reels because I don't get info directly from Reddit. So it's good. I find a couple good articles on there once in a while, a couple good things to get engaged with. I got engaged with one yesterday. It was a really good one. Wrote a big long piece about it. But yeah, I don't really mess with the social medias too much. And I don't feel like it disconnects me from the people that I care about, because the people I care about all have my phone number, including second and third order friends and family, right? So if you got my number and you don't want to reach out, that's on you. I mean, I try to reach out as much as I can. It gets tough sometimes, it gets difficult, but the people that care remind me, and that definitely reach out and ring me up.
Yeah. There's been times where I've not gotten updates, and then I call family and they're like, hey, did you see so-and-so? What happened to so-and-so? Or did you see this? Or updates on this? And I'm like, no, like, unless you text me or call me, I'm on Facebook maybe once a week, if that. You know, I'm not getting all these updates. So do I care? Sure. I mean, if it's something that involves me or my immediate family, sure. Yeah. But if you really want to let me know, you got my number. And if you don't, maybe you don't need to have my number. So that's how I feel about that. Let me see here. This morning I got a text message, and of course Father's Day, right? Text message from my mother-in-law, and it was a happy Father's Day, and it was like a lion playing with lion cubs, right? Big, ferocious, you know, kind of mean looking lion, and little cubs are jumping all over the place. And I'm looking at it, and I'm laughing at it, and I'm like, okay, well, it's more or less so these days of the whole lion and the cubs playing on you, because my kids are a little bit older, and it's more so like this, like the koalas just kind of latching onto your back, like, Dad, can I have this? Can I have that? Or my wife too. So that's what it feels like. More so koalas, less so the lions. So thought that was kind of funny. Let me close out of that beast. Close. There you go. Close that window. Let's go to the comments here real quick. Robert Chalk Lab. Happy Father's Day, everyone. Hey, happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, man. Still adjusting to having my family around me 24/7. So I'm taking it slow and convincing myself that the mission is my family, but a huge adjustment. Dude, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. You know, for so long, many of us have not had that, you know, of family around us 24/7, especially if like you work from home or something like that, or especially now during summer vacation, families around 24/7. I still am a fan of having that breather. You know, if you're around something for too long, it starts to kind of wear on you, I think. So that's why I tend to wake up a little bit earlier than everybody else, and just have that breather, you know, have that alone time to myself. Sometimes I'll just kind of wander around the backyard with my hands behind my back, and just think, or just go out and walk and think, you know. Sometimes you need that alone time. Let me close up. I'm getting constant text messages, and it's giving me that freaking squirrel mentality. Like, I keep looking to the side, text messages popping up. Let me put my do not disturb on here.
Yeah, man. Please silence all cell phones during the ceremony.
That's it. Let's see. Navy Cop says, because of a deployment, I met my daughter when she was 5.5 months old. Was lucky and able to get through to my ex a few times, or a few minutes after the birth. It was surreal being there when my son was born. Yeah, dude, it really is. It really is. And isn't that crazy, dude? Like, I've never been on like a deployment where my kid was born. I barely missed it because I was at TBS training, like the basic school training. and my kid was born. It was like 4 or 5 days after my TBS graduation, so I was constantly going back and forth from Virginia to North Carolina, Virginia, North Carolina every Friday, staying there until Sunday morning, afternoon, whatever. I'd drive back to Virginia, just because I didn't know, like you don't know when this whole thing's going to happen. So a little nerve wracking, but I never really missed one of my kids' births, so I'm very grateful for that. A lot of folks don't have that luxury. They're deployed. They may be doing something else, training, and they may miss it. So unfortunate, but that's the military life, dude.
It is. Yeah, I didn't miss either one of my kids being born, luckily. But I was on reserve time when my son was born and when my daughter was born, both. I was actually getting ready to go take a contract in the Middle East right around the time that my daughter was being born. And then that didn't pan out. So
good. Yeah, Navy Cop says it. My kids all shifted to Instagram. Facebook is for boomers, apparently. And even then, only my stepdaughter posts more often. I don't know, man. I'm on Facebook, and I'm not a boomer, but
boomer.
No. Even though my kids randomly call me that, I'm like, do we need to have a talk about like years? And yeah, that's it. Let me. I think they just do it, and they just say it just to be get under my skin a little bit. Roy Estrada, my man, welcome. Happy Father's Day. Awesome. Happy Father's Day to you as well. Just reading some of these comments here. Okay, good. So yeah, man, today is all about life in uniform and after uniform, dude. And I find that there's a saying that that kind of stuck with me for so long. And it was the military gets the best of us and the family gets the rest of us. And for so long, while I was in uniform, that I didn't really notice it while I was in uniform. I just thought it was kind of part of the mission. I'd be TAD or I'd have duty. At one point I deployed, and I just thought it was like just part of life. And then similar to what I think we had Allison on the show last week, was it?
Yep.
And she was talking about the spouse and how they keep everything grounded at home. And I never really kind of thought about that, and then until kind of the roles changed a little bit, where my wife goes to work now and I work from home here, and it's like, okay, well, roles are kind of reversed, still doing the work, but now I'm home with the kids too, which I'm grateful for, because I haven't been able to do that for years. And I really feel it now. I really do feel it. So how that's a real thing, where you're at home, it's overwhelming sometimes when they're fighting. My kids are a little bit older, so they will box and they will like break things like drywall and shit, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck, I got to fix this stuff now. I got to go to Home Depot and buy a piece of drywall to fix this thing. Or you know what it is too? I got a 9-foot ceiling around parts of my house. There's fucking finger marks up there because they're constantly jumping, touching the frame. I'm like, dude, I got to clean this shit now, so I put it on them. I put the ownership on them to do that. So I'm not your servant. Time for you to do it.
Yeah, luckily I'm not in that position. Maybe soon again, but luckily I'm not in that position right now. My kids are both grown, and it was really a little bit crazy growing up with them, because I was in the military and then moving back and forth and doing a lot of stuff, and then eventually the split up, the divorce, that made things really complicated, because I had gone back on active duty already and did that so I could spend more time at home. And that didn't really work out so well. It was almost like a precursor to COVID kind of situation. And then, once we split, man, and they went back overseas and I was still in the States, that was complicated. That was really, really complicated, trying to figure out schedule leave time and get approved for leave time. So I could take 2 or 3 weeks and go to Germany and then go back and then go to Germany and go back. And every time I tried to get on whatever TDY that was going to Germany, which didn't really happen very often. So, but yeah, that was really complicated that last 10 or so years.
Yeah. So, that's that kind of crossed my mind too, not too long ago when I was thinking about, videos and topics to come up with, and the divorce topic came up for so long. I mean, as you know, I did military justice, and a lot of the times, though it wasn't really like what I did directly, but another part of my office did like divorce decrees and all this stuff, right? And I was always curious about that, like how does it goes more so with the state, right? Like what portion of your either retirement or your pay or whatever goes toward the spouse. And this is, and again, I know there's some kind of math to it, I assume state to state.
Yep.
But
state to state's different.
Yeah. So I was always curious, like, hey man, like with retirees, I know you cannot, they cannot take the VA disability payment. At least that's what I've heard. But the retirement is different.
Yep.
And the only real experience I have with this is, for one, like the work in military justice, and for two, I have a friend who is who was divorced, has a couple kids, and at one point he was like, dude, like he's retired, Marine Corps retired. He's like, dude, my Marine Corps retirement is like almost non-existent, dude. It's like I still have to, like, I'll be working for the rest of my life, man, because it's like I worked all this time, and I gotta pay for the kids, and then the spouse and all that stuff.
Yep.
I don't know about now because he got remarried, and I'm thinking, man, you worked all these years, and then you got to essentially give up this dough. I mean, it's for your kids, right, and for your ex-wife, I suppose. But what could have been like a $3,500, $4,000 retirement is somewhere like in $1,000 a month. I'm like, that's rough, dude. And I was always told in my military career, especially when I was like thinking about getting married, I was pulled aside by Master Guns, and he's like, hey dog, come here, let me slap some sense into you, man. Now that you're going through this process, understand it's cheaper to keep her. And I'm like, I didn't know what that meant at the time. I was like, oh, okay, I guess get married, right? Or stay married. He's like, understand that, man, it's cheaper to keep her. If not, you're going to be in a world of hurt. It's like, okay. And there's always that running joke in the Marine Corps, like, unless you have an NJP or you've been divorced at least once, you're not a real Marine.
No.
I don't know if the Army has the same thing, the same stupid sayings, but that was always a thing in the Marine Corps. Like, oh, you're still married? We'll get you there, man. You're not a real Marine yet. I'm like, F off, dude. What are you talking about? I have a happy marriage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see here. Roy Strada, he says, today's kids don't leave home after turning 18. They stay longer and milk dad and mom. Today's economy and job opportunities make it challenging to gain independence. My two oldest sons joined the military. I agree with that. Yeah. And, in Hispanic cultures, traditionally, the kids stay in the house longer than 18 and up, right? Sometimes in their 20s. I have a kid who's about to be 22 in August, and still lives with us. I said that's fine with me as long as the kid is still going to school and knocking out the college degree and all that stuff.
Yep.
The military was not for my kid. Found that out real quick. But, I said, as long as you're doing something with your life and not just sitting around working, actually get an education, do something fun. I don't care if it's a trade, do something. But I will say, I know of many people, probably less than a handful of people though, who are probably about my age, still living with their parents. And not saying that people fall through hard times. People, just maybe they have financial struggles, maybe their divorce is going on, whatever. Um, but I can't see myself doing that, man. I cannot. I wouldn't be able to live with my parents again. I thought about it for a second. I'm like, hey, if we moved, my family lives in Florida. I'm like, if we moved back to Florida just to get our, our feet on the ground, probably moving with my parents for a little bit. I mean, they got a friggin' 5-bedroom house, in this nice area. And I'm thinking, no, I don't want to revert back to that.
Yeah.
Even if it means get back my feet, because I'll feel like I'm kind of mooching off them a little bit. So I couldn't do that.
Yeah, it's funny because in Europe, it's the complete opposite, right? It's kind of like what Roy Estrada was saying, like the kids staying home longer, staying past 18. Like when I tell people I left the house at 17, 18 years old, and they're like, what? And they're 25, 27. My kids still live with their mom in Germany, and he's 23 now. My daughter's a couple of years younger. It's just a normal thing over in Europe. I think, I don't know if it ties to the economy directly or to jobs or what have you, but I think about it from the other side of the curtain, where it's like, if you leave the house at 18, right? And there's a great article about it. I think Tim Urban wrote the article. I forget what the name of the article is. I could probably pull it up, but basically it's like, if you leave the house at 18, you've only got so many Super Bowls left before your parents pass away, that you can see them, right? So you just count it in number of Super Bowls from the time you leave the house till 80 or 75 or whenever they pass away. And the kids who stay home longer get actually more quality time. Sometimes, in a lot of cases, quality time. Sometimes it's butting heads with people and arguing about who's making the rules and what they can do and what they can't do. But the quality time that you get with your parents versus leaving the house at 18 and not seeing them for years and years and years, and maybe once a year for a birthday or something, right? It's interesting dynamic to think about. And I'm indifferent on both sides of it. I don't think there should be any shame in it. I mean, you're getting quality time with your parents. How much money would you pay to get that? Especially if they're older, right? If they're like 70 or 80 years old, like my mom's getting up there in age. I would love to have a couple more years just to hang out with her side by side. But at the same time, it gets annoying, right? And there's a line you got to draw, right? You can't, like you said, you can't be with them 24/7. But those few moments that you do get with them, that's moments that you can't trade for anything, for any amount of money, any amount of success. Like I wouldn't trade any of those moments. That's why when I go home, I usually spend a week or 2 weeks, see my mom, see my sisters, see my aunts and uncles, and if they're still around, cousins, as much as possible, because you don't get any time with them. And then when they're gone, you're going to be like, I wish I had that time. So, but Europeans do that a lot. They stay till 20, 25, 30, sometimes longer.
Yeah. And if you count, like, this guy mentioned Super Bowls. If you count via World Cups every 4 years, that's even less time.
Oh yeah.
Right. So, but yeah, no, that's so true, dude. So true. I was just having to talk to my son about this yesterday, about how, I don't have that much longer with my parents. I mentioned that to him because he was on his video games all day. I got a teenage son on his video games all day. And I'm like, hey, dude, and I control their Wi-Fi time and all that stuff, and through the app and all that. So I'm like, look, I'm going to need you to read a little bit. I'm going to need you to do something else aside from being on the video games all day. And he's like, why do you always give me like crap like this about that? I was like, for first off, talk to me like that, stand by, but understand that when you get older, as you get older, you do not have a lot of time with your family, with your parents. and you're going to wish that you did. So that's why I make it kind of a rule to go back. And I live completely across the country from my family, my parents. We chose to stay here in California. They live over in Florida, and make it a point to go out there and see them because they are getting older, right? They're getting closer to their 70s, you know, and you know, health issues start to arise and things like that. I'm like, I don't know how much longer I have with them, you know, so I'll try to make the most of it with my kids. Especially when I think about it, you know, my kid's prepping for the Naval Academy. I'm like, I really only have like 2 years left with the kid before. I mean, if you think about it, when you left the military, you were out of your parents' house. Like you,
Already,
especially active duty, you're out of your parents' house. Like that's like the last time you're going to live with your parents' house, unless you get out after enlistment and then go live back with them. But that's not the ideal situation that you'd want for your kid. You want for your kid to be successful and do something outside of that, right? So I'm thinking, yeah, I only got really 2 years with this kid. He's growing up quick. What can I do to be the best father to support him and also spend as much time as I can with him? So kids these days are a little strange to me in that, yeah, they like watching YouTube, they like watching shorts, but they have so much information at their fingertips. I mean, you got a computer in your pocket all the time, right? This phone, computer, full fledged. You can find anything out about anything that you want using this. And the conversations I have with them are far more advanced than any conversation I've ever had with my father, you know? And I'm thinking about like, they're talking about SpaceX with me. They're talking about philosophy. I'm like, bro, you're 15. Like what? Like where the hell did this come from? At 15 years old, I was freaking, you know, I don't know what, I was buying Twinkies at the store and, you know, I don't know, paying arcade games with my friends. I don't know what the hell I was doing at 15. You know, so a lot more advanced, but it has opened my eyes to, you know, spending time with them, taking walks with them. You know, I read a good article from Steve Jobs, about how he would go out and that was his think time. Like, you know, like Nietzsche and all these folks, these great thinkers of the past, they would go out and that'd be like kind of like their alone time, these long walks to reflect, to think, to process ideas, you know. And I try to do that every morning, though sometimes the mind is just blank, but you know, you try to get ideas out there. That really helps me in my mornings, you know, just kind of transitioning to that a little bit. But I try to do that with my kids as often as possible. Sometimes the talks, the walks are just silent. Sometimes we just get into full-fledged conversations. And those are the memories that we're going to remember, that they're going to remember when they're older.
Yeah. Yeah, that was some of the only moments that I had with my grandfather, was long walks with him. He used to do long walks, and I used to go with him when I was a little dude.
Yeah, it makes you think back, and you wish that you could do it again. Similar with my grandfather too. Like one of the only times that I really spent a lot of time with him, went to his house, and you know, he prepared like a chicken soup for us and all that. And I asked him some questions about his youth, and he really couldn't remember. He's like thinking about it, and mind you, he was like 80 something at the time, thinking about it. He's like, I just can't remember. And I'm like, damn, if 10 years earlier, if I would have asked you these questions, I probably would have been able to find out more about this. But, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Things that, you know, I asked some things that maybe like my parents didn't even know. And they're like, yeah, I don't know. You'd have to ask him. I'm like, oh, well, shit, he doesn't know. So I guess those things are lost, you know?
Yeah.
Those things are lost.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Checking out some of these comments here real quick. How do we put the comments up on the screen? We did it before.
What do you mean?
I'm curious to try that one more time.
Oh, to have them live stream on the stream?
Oh, right here. Let's see.
Yeah, but they're real tiny.
Oh, they are, man. They're on your chest too, man.
I mean, I don't mind them on my chest. It's fine. But
no, just get a tattoo. Get all the comments tattooed on your chest.
I know, right?
Let me see. Let's see. Navy cop, 2 divorces under my belt. Stories about that as well. Can't touch disability. My second wife tried to. tried to use it toward higher child support for her. Judge said no. Yeah. Well, that's good, man. That's good. Both had her retirement accounts. Okay. Good.
Yeah. My ex was the same. She said she wasn't going to touch my retirement or none of that stuff. Just paid child support, and that was it.
There was a colonel. I recall. I was probably in for 10 years in at that time, and this colonel was retiring, and he had a talk with a lot of us about like retirement and what you're going to go through and all that stuff. And he disclosed that his wife had like this cancer, and we're like, oh man, that I felt terrible, you know, like that nobody knew about that. He's always kept it kind of quiet, like he's never shared that part of his life.
No.
And come to find out, he's like, look, I'm not going through the legal process. I'm simply going to give her my entire retirement check because she deserves a better life now that like she has limited time. So he's going to push all the money to her, right? Ex-wife.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's real admirable. Not a lot of people would do that, but it was like terminal brain cancer or something like that. And he's like, yeah, I just want her to enjoy her life. So all that money that I'm getting, she's going to get it for as long as she wants. I'm like, wow, you know, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool story.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Let me see. Roy Strada, my ex gets $1,500 a month, divorced in California. I still get $45 a month, but initially losing $1,500 a month was painful. I'm still waiting for that call from my daughters. Oh shoot. Yeah, dude. I mean, that is a little rough. And the buddy of mine that retired, this gentleman retired as a staff sergeant. So, you know, a little bit less pay, right? Staff sergeant 20 years, a couple years ago. So I don't know what that is, like 2,800 or something like that a month in retirement pay. And to only come out with that with under $1,000 a month. Plus, you know, he's got I think it was like 60-70% disability or something like that. He mentioned to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, that's a little rough, man. Thankfully his wife has a great job and he was able to get a GS position too. But he's like, yeah, I'm paying this for life, dude. We'll see how it goes.
Mm-mm.
Patrick PNW, man. Happy Father's Day to all. 401 and awake. I like that. Growing up in the 70s, 80s, kids were terrified of most adults and couldn't wait to get the hell out of the house. A powerful motivator for getting after it. I agree, man. In the 80s, I can't remember how many times I'd just be like, I gotta get the hell out of here. Pissed off, you know, gotta get the hell out of this house. And once I did, I was like, damn, I kind of miss it. Oh man. My childhood is a blur of adults incoherently yelling, so a military career was an excellent fit. Yeah. Dude, my childhood was my dad constantly buying groceries and 2 days later them being gone because I have 3 brothers and they're all as big as me. They're all like in their like 200-pound plus range, you know, and big dudes. And we would eat everything. And that would be it. It was a constant stop eating all the food. And then my father was like, hey, you know what? Go join the military. Let the government feed you, please. Go. So that's what I did.
I'm gonna get this. I don't. Patrick, you have a countdown timer for your retirement already. If not, I'm gonna drop one in the chat for you. You're welcome.
Oh, that dude counts it every day. I imagine Patrick's wall is like the etchings on a cell block, just like etchings, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he just does it with a freaking K-bar, you know. Oh man. Uh, See, Roy Strider, my two sons were told you can come back and visit, but you can't move back in. Think twice before getting out of the military. Make sure you have a job lined up. Yeah, man. Yeah, of course. A job or something to bring a little bit of income in. Yeah, it doesn't really doesn't always have to be a like a 9 to 5 or a W-2 job. I'm actually gonna make a video about that here soon on my other channel about the about making things happen outside of the cubicle, because I was so damn tired of being in a cubicle that I couldn't imagine it. I couldn't imagine going back, man. I mean, I would if I had to, but you know, I'm not above that. But if I have a choice, I will continue doing what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, I can't do cubicle life. Not really.
It's rough, dude.
It's not for me. I got to get out and move around. I can't just sit in the office all day. If I can sit in the office and then also get up and walk around and do some stuff, that's kind of fine. Sit at the desk, do some emails, blah, blah, blah. But sitting there all day for 8 hours a day, no, thank you. Go. Vaffanculo, as they say in Italy.
No, what is it? Nafanculo?
Vaffanculo. Va.
Vafanculo. Okay.
Fanculo. Yeah, that's a good one to remember. Patrick, your countdown is going, sir.
There we go. Yeah, so I wanted to check in with the folks in there again. What does fatherhood look like for you in the military, and what did it look like for you after the military? Are you spending more time with your family? Did you immediately get into another job and then think, hey, you know what, maybe my priorities might be a little off? Having another paycheck, having a job and more income coming in is great. It really is great. It gives you options to do things. But I will give you an example on this. Okay. Just this week, and I understand how spontaneous this is. I was like, hey, I text a group of people, and I told them, because you know I work from home. I can take my laptop and do what I'm doing anywhere, right?
Yep.
I text folks and I'm like, hey, I want to go to this game, and it's located in Monterrey, Mexico, right? And it's this Wednesday. Who's down to go?
Nobody. Crickets.
Dude, crickets, man. They're like, oh man, I gotta get off work, or I can't take leave, or I have this plan, that plan. And I understand the plans and all that stuff, and I understand how spontaneous that can be. But I'm like, it is very difficult to trade in this freedom right now for just having to ask somebody to take off work. You know, very difficult. So I was thinking hard about it. I'm like, do I still go? I mean, the tickets are still available. I can still get flights, and flights from here to you know, Guadalajara and Monterrey are like $130, dude. It's not bad versus what they are now in the US.
Yep.
If you're gonna go from like the US, like or San Diego to like Texas or New York City, dude, the flights are like $700-800. The great thing about it is San Diego has that Tijuana cross-border thing where you can just go into a terminal straight into TJ, and then the flights to like Mexico City are like $130. Just incredible, dude. Incredible.
Oh, they got a pretty big
thing.
Airport right there in TJ.
Yeah, and the great thing, it's called CBX, right? Cross-border crossing. Mm-hmm. You park in the San Diego side in this parking lot. You go through, it's like beautiful, right? It's like a regular terminal. Then you go inside this building, you go and check your passport, you do the immigration thing, which I've already done, right? And you show it to them. They'll let you go and go to your gate, whatever it is. You physically do not have to set foot on the other side, like go through the border or anything like that. You just walk through a terminal and you're in the airport. Oh. So it is so convenient, man. So that's convenient.
Sick. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad they did that. Let me see. Navy Cop says current job is office tethered to a desk. Worst job ever. I'm actively looking for something new, dude. I'll tell you, Navy cop man. I've thought about this before because there's other. I've applied to other jobs before, right? Like in the last like month, and I'm thinking I would honestly rather work at like the Lowe's Garden Center. Anytime I go in there, like I feel good, like surrounded by like just plants and stuff like that, just outside chilling. It's not even that hot.
Yep.
Everything's covered. I'm like, man, I'd rather just work here and talk to people all day than freaking sit in a cubicle. I'd rather take the $20 an hour than whatever it is that somebody else is offering me to sit inside of. They're not even four walls, dude. What are they? What's a cubicle? It's like
For
metal
partition,
with
they're like these things,
partitions.
except bigger.
Yeah. See, you got the same exact thing I got from IKEA, right? Yeah.
This is a cubicle all day long.
That's it, dude. The only thing is not touching your cheek, but yes, it's a cubicle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got the same thing I got, man, in IKEA.
Yeah.
I think.
I'm about to knock this wall down and put a whole thing of those up, put it back behind me.
Yeah, I got a wall of these little soundproof things that are right up against here. Navy Cop says, Vic, looking to something to look into this week with help. Will help a lot of struggling vets. The VA partial claim process towards helping vets struggling with back owed mortgage payments and facing foreclosures. Yes, they took that away a while back, right? They like canceled that. And something I will definitely look into. Because I know that a lot of folks, especially here in Southern California, dude, the houses, I don't know how people can afford this stuff. I don't know how people can afford it, especially like if you don't have the extra income, like a retirement or a VA disability check. I don't know how. Well, I kind of do know how because some of these places around here are multi-generational. So everybody's kind of bringing in money. I have a friend that does that. And I cannot imagine doing that, dude. Like having your in-laws live with you full time. I couldn't do it. So I'm ultimately thankful and blessed that we have the benefits that we have.
June 15th. That just happened last week. I can pull it up on the screen too if you want. Hold on a second. Let me do this.
See, Roy Estrada was third Mardiv. Gunner. Awesome. Yeah, third Mardiv in 2002 and offered a GS job in K-Bay. Oh, dude, that's the dream. After 27 years, decided to start my second career. It was scary at first, but best decision I ever made. Dude, if I was offered a GS job in K-Bay, I would take that cubicle job. That's the only difference is you're in K-Bay, right? Can't beat that with a stick, bro. Okay, what do we got here? Foreclosure. I'm not. Okay.
That's what Navy Cop was pointing out. Signed in last year and take effect June 15th. Launched June 15th of this year. Partial claim program created by the VA Home Loan Program Reform Act. Gives military members and veterans a path to get current on their mortgage without losing the original loan terms. And then this is the article from military.com. Yeah.
Yeah. I have to read on that because what was going on with that one, at least the last time I read it a couple months ago, was that they took away the program. And what happens is if you are defaulting on your mortgage rates, the VA will take over your mortgage and they will bring your mortgage rate down to like 2.5% or something. So that way it's like more manageable. They would bring your monthly payment down more manageable. So that way you don't foreclose or default on your loan. And I can't say that I also didn't look at it too, like, if they're going to bring down your mortgage rates, but you have to provide a whole bunch of like bank statements and like financial statements and all that stuff. Yeah. I'm like, I'm never going to win this because, all my stuff is current. I've never missed a mortgage payment or anything like that. So it's not for me. It's more for people who really need it.
Yeah, I've been seeing a bunch of stuff in the news coming across my desk about some of the latest and greatest on refinancing VA loans and keeping those percentage rates and stuff like that. I haven't read deeply into it, but I've been seeing a bunch of stuff on VA loans specifically, people being eligible for them, this kind of thing with the aid to help you get away from foreclosures, and then also the different ways to refinance those, or do cash out refis or whatever it happens to be with VA home loans. I've been seeing a lot of VA home loan movement lately in the news. Lots.
Yeah, and they constantly call me too, man. I don't know if anybody out there receives those VA home loan calls, but they're like, "Hey, we want to talk to you about the IRRL, and then refinance your stuff. We what's your current mortgage rate?" I was like, "Dude, you guys cannot touch my current mortgage rate right now, dude. Take me off your call list. Call me when your shit's like 1.5% or something."
No.
I don't think it's ever going to be like that, but yeah, it is a blessing, man, to have gotten in there a little bit early. I will say something I came across too is, and something I did not know until a few months ago when I started looking into this. The Chapter 35 benefit.
Yep.
Chapter 35, right, where it gives your spouse and your kids a monthly stipend to go to school, but in turn they fall off. Well, your kids do, not your spouse, but your kids fall off of your VA compensation. Okay. There's a lot of pushback on the video I made on this, people telling me that, hey, they don't fall off, whatever. I'm like, well, you might want to check it, because when you do apply, you're in for a freaking world of hurt when you find out that, yes, they do fall off, and the paper you sign tells you exactly that. However, I did not realize that kids in high school could receive Chapter 35 benefits as well. High school kids. So I looked into this. The school has to be approved for this. If they're not approved, that there's a process that you go through, and some schools just don't want to do it because it's kind of a heavy lift. But essentially, it gives them Chapter 35 benefits. That Chapter 35 benefits for the high schoolers is going away August 1st. So it's probably too late to apply for it now to get a month of Chapter 35. But just folks out there need to know, like, hey, if your kid is in high school using Chapter 35, if you don't already know, that's going to go away August 1st. They may be able to finish off the last semester and get that last payment, but after that, it's going away. And if you notice, a lot of these programs that are made for education are going away. Like this program's going away. They changed the vet tech, that new vet tech 2.0 that came out. They changed it to now it's a 1-for-1 swap with the GI Bill. Before it wasn't like that. So this goes back to what I've been kind of preaching a little bit. If you have not gotten your foot into the vet tech 2.0 or the VRNE program, do it ASAP, because I got a feeling that they're going to come out with, hey, we're going to introduce VRNE 2.0 now, where you got to use, there's not going to be any retroactive induction. You got to use your GI Bill for a 1-for-1 swap on the VRNE 2.0. So use it before you lose it. That's my 2 cents on education.
Remember, it's a long process. Any one of those processes through the VA is a long process. It's not going to be a walk in the park. It's not going to be, apply and fill out the form and then they call you back 2 weeks later. Like all of those things are long processes. And take lots of paperwork, take lots of back and forth. Hopefully take a responsible and responsive VRNE specialist on the other end of the phone who can help you through that process, who can walk you through it, who's not drinking a bitter cup of coffee that morning when they're having a conversation with you. All those things play into it. But yeah, it's get in while you can, and hopefully you get at least with the VRNE stuff, hopefully you become eligible for the college portion of it, the education portion of it, because it's not guaranteed. A lot of times it'll be like a trade school or some kind of certification or some kind of way to help you get into a new job. And with the vet tech, I'm not sure how that's going to exactly work, but I'm sure it's going to be sort of similar and a little bit more scaled down from what VRNE is.
Yeah. And the vet tech 2.0, it is very scaled down. It's not a degree seeking plan. It's just for certifications.
Yeah.
And
which is still good.
Yeah.
I mean,
It is. You get certified in whatever, like some kind of computer or AI type of certificates. The good thing about it is that it's good for folks who are up to 62 years old. So you can apply to it as long as you're under 62. You can get your foot in the door with that, and they give you a monthly housing allowance. I freaking love it. The thing that I don't love is the one-for-one swap with the GI Bill. If you still got GI Bill left, use your GI Bill up. If not, if you've used all your GI Bill, exhausted all that, use VetTech 2.0. Why not, dude? It's get your foot in the door, apply for it. And I know it's a hurry up and wait, because I know a lot of folks have told me, hey, I applied for it. When do you think it's going to get approved? Oh, bro, if I had a magic ball, like a magic 8-ball, I would tell you, dude, but I don't know. Because anything with the VA, it could be tomorrow or it could be 10 years from now tomorrow. I don't know. Just get your foot in the door. Hurry up and wait. Hurry up and wait. John, I didn't want to bring this up here, man. This came across my desk. This is a good piece of gear for folks to know, just in case you get this in the mail. Okay, this is a scam that's going around for vets. Okay, it says fraud alert. Beware the Veteran Savings Program postcard scam. Okay, this came out probably about 11 days ago. So new scam targeting vets. Latest tactic involves sending fraudulent postcards claiming you or your spouse are entitled to extra VA benefits or additional payments, including Champ VA, TRICARE, and dental coverage, regardless of a VA disability rating. Don't fall for it, is what the VA says. These scammers claim to be affiliated with the VA. They might instill a sense of urgency, pressuring you to contact them as soon as possible or within 5 days. Their goal is to get you to call the number provided. Once you do, they will often use flattery and praise regarding your military service to gain trust. The scammer will attempt to obtain personal identifying information like your social security number, bank account details, and other sensitive information. Never give this information over the phone or on the internet. So just understand that these are some common scam tactics that people are using to get a hold, especially like the older generation who's not like up to speed on all this stuff that's coming out, unsolicited postcards, emails, texts, social media messages, fake authority on claims or emails, phishing attacks, payment requests, social media interaction. Never share your personal identifiable information or financial information. Let me see. Don't act on urgent requests. Always verify the sender. Be cautious on social media. So don't fall for those scams. Just FYI, because the amount of people that I know, like older people that I've heard about, that they just freely give up the information because they think it's somebody reputable. And then all of a sudden they get a bank account cleaned out, the retirement account cleaned out or whatever. It's sad to see, but just understand. I just thought I'd share that. I don't know how. I'm not sure the age group of our audience right now or people on the live stream right now, but just be aware of that stuff. There are some crappy people out there.
Scammers are getting really good too. I get some emails now and again that are really, really well crafted scam emails, like really well crafted. Like I've watched scamming emails over the course of many years, probably a couple decades, just because it was part of my job. It was part of my job description, was understanding how, cyber attacks work and things like that. And they're getting really, really good, like really good, especially nowadays where you can craft stuff with ChatGPT or, name your Claude or whatever it is. And you can grab a lot of information off of the internet and a lot of photos and images and create images and with AI and do all kinds of wonderful things and automate these things. That's the even worst part of it, is you can automate these things even better than you could 5 years ago or 10 years ago, where you can send it out mass to, a bunch of different people. You can make the email address look like it's a legit email address. There's so many things to watch out for. If you don't know the sender, if you don't know the phone number, don't answer. Just don't answer.
Yeah.
I force people to send me a text message.
Yeah. Things like changing the I to a capital L or a capital L to an I or something like that, or vice versa. Just little things like that. Mo Perspective. Happy Father's Day, Vic and John. Well, I truly appreciate you. Thank you for the support.
Thank you
for the support. John, you mentioned AI, dude. You mentioned AI, and I don't know if the Salty Old Marine's in here. If not, we'll talk to him later on. But he was sharing some great information. The Salty Old Marine's got a great video, a great channel, and he was sharing some excellent information on AI channels coming out with using like word for word transcripts from other creators. One of them, they're actually using like the backgrounds of creators, right? Like a legit like studio backgrounds from different creators. And you can tell. I want you to realize this, all right? Not I personally, I would not support these AI channels, right? It's some guy in the back doing some kind of algorithm and taking stuff from other, like stealing stuff from other veteran channels and putting it together and putting it out there for the masses, right? Gaining traction and selling books and stuff on the side, just these AI created books and all that. Be aware of that. I can't remember the dude's name, Frank something. So I would not freak with these channels because they're straight up stealing from the veteran community. And who knows, it could be somebody like overseas just creating all this stuff. It could be somebody within the US just thinking, hey, let me get a one up on these things and just be lazy and just reuse whatever's coming out, right? It kind of pisses me off a little bit when I see things like that. And you can tell when something's AI by the way that the person moves, like maybe like they're more mechanical when they move or something like that. It's not fluid, right? There's not like a lot of uhs and ums and things like that. These are things you just got to watch out for. And I will say that the channel, like the AI image of the person looks pretty good. It looks like legitimate. Like there's not a lot. You have to actually look into it to spot it. And I look at the comments on there. And I'm like, okay, well, people are actually commenting on this stuff. Thinking that it's real.
And the comments could be AI generated.
Exactly. The comments are AI generated. Just stay away from those things. Like listen to the legitimate veteran channels. There's a handful of us, more than a handful of us that have legitimate, like we're real people.
Yep.
Like John, I have to say, man, I have never met you in person, and I hate that. And, we've known each other for 2 years, but I have to believe you're not an AI generated person. Are you? Have I been talking to a robot all these years?
I've been spent my whole life doing computer stuff. So take that as you will. And I keep talking about AI like it's my long distant cousin.
Yeah. And Mo puts it like she puts it in good perspective here. The problem is the algorithm pushes these channels too. So yeah, here's the thing. Shit, man, let me fix my chair. I push the thing up and I'm like going straight back. The more VA claim stuff you watch, the more the algorithm's going to push this to you, right?
Yep.
And all these channels, and I think there's 2 of them that I come across that are AI generated, and these guys are just or girls. I don't know who's running these things. They're being pushed to your channel for a reason, because you're constantly watching VA claim stuff. You're constantly watching this stuff. You want to consume. And so somebody got smart on it and said, hey, look, I'm going to make a business out of this. I'm going to start selling my top 10 things that people need to know about VA claims or whatever, AI generated, make this AI generated channel and see who I can fool. So don't be a fool.
Don't be a fool.
Don't be a fool. Stay in school. Yeah. But yeah, no, stick with the folks who are actually like doing the research and making things happen, not just stealing from other veterans. Because one thing that you'll find once you find some of these channels, compare it to something that the actual channel said, it's freaking word for word, man. Like the whole transcript is word for word. I'm like, I was kind of amazed, like, wow, like what? Like this guy straight up stole like not only the background from this other YouTuber, but a pretty well-known veteran YouTuber, but also like the word for word transcript, because you can find the transcript on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's right there.
Transfer that
built into
over
the video.
to yeah, it's built in, right? So you transfer that over to the Chat GPT or Gemini or whatever, or Claude, build this video, build this guy, and then bam, they steal your stuff, man. They steal your stuff. Incredible, man.
Insane.
Yeah, let me see here. One thing help me. Yeah. Let me see. I want to switch gears here. What are people like this is a legacy conversation, right? I write a lot to my kids. I write letters to my kids and emails. I have emails set up for each one of them, and probably every other week, maybe monthly, I'll shoot them an email with updates on life, right? And then one day I'll give them the password. They'll be able to look at this stuff and be like, "Oh man, here's letters that my dad used to write me," etc. And I wanted to ask, what are people, being that it's Father's Day today, right? What are people out there, fathers, even mothers out there, even any veteran? What are you leaving your kids behind as you grow older in age, right? We're not all going to be here forever. And I don't want to sound morbid or anything like that. I know, John, you got memento mori on tattooed there. We're not all going to live forever, and that's a reality. What are you leaving your kids besides your benefits and some paperwork? What is being left behind by you to your kids? Don't all come out at once now.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the primary, 3 or 4 reasons why I'm even here right now doing this. Like, literally, I had mentioned my grandfather, and I only got to spend a very limited amount of time with him. He didn't live inside of the United States. He was outside of the country. When he did finally come to the United States and stay there for a couple of years, he was only there for a couple of years. I had just left for the Army, so I was gone in that period of time. He actually passed away when I was coming out of, right after boot camp. He passed away, and then I didn't get the notification soon enough. And then by the time I got home, he was already gone, buried, all that stuff. But there's 2 specific things that I have. I mean, there's a couple things that I have from him, little reminders, but there's 2 specific things that I have that he actually wrote, like a little booklet, which is a full-fledged kind of booklet. It's written in a different language, so I can't directly read it. And then I recently got an actual journal that he had. So it was just a little journal notebook that he was taking notes in. I'm sure there's a bunch more somewhere, hidden somewhere, destroyed, laying in a box somewhere, that I'll never ever get to see. But he was an avid writer. He spent a lot of time writing. He spent a lot of time thinking. Really intelligent guy. And so finding that journal of his, and when I finally get it translated and be able to read through it and see what it says, and it might just be just random stuff, but the fact that I can reach into that and grab some small details that I wouldn't otherwise know, for me is just amazing, right? And that's when we journal, when we record these videos, when we push anything out to the public, whether it's in the form of a blog post or some kind of, that's what I do a lot on my, you had asked about the Facebook stuff earlier. A lot of the stuff that I push on Facebook is little quotes that I want to remind myself about. And also, if my kids ever one day go back and pull up my Facebook page that was there from, 20 years ago or whatever, they can literally go back and go through and see some of the thoughts that I had were really just quotes from books and different kind of passages from books and different passages in my life that made sense, that one reminded me how to think better about life and those kind of things. So that stuff and this stuff right here, it's literally one of the reasons why I do this. beyond helping veterans and trying to get more information out there and connecting with people. It's literally to leave a time capsule for my kids.
I love that, man. I love the time capsule idea. And I'll ask the same question to folks out there in the comments as well, in live land. What is something that you would want to leave behind for your kids? And I'll also ask you this, man. For those who knew their father as well, or who spent times with their fathers, and you as well, John. What is one lesson that you learned from your father that you keep to this day?
Yeah, Mo
Let's
says.
see. Oh, Mo perspective. I have a couple of my mom's journals. I still smell like her favorite oil. Means the world to me. That's excellent. I love that. I love that. Something to pass down, a little remembrance of her. That's excellent. I love that. I see. Navy Cop says, I have a lot of my dad's college notebooks. Found his bad handwriting did not develop over time. It was that way from birth. He also wrote a weekly family letter. I have almost all of them. I do like the weekly family letters, man. I do enjoy those. I have well, he was one of my old bosses. It's not a weekly or anything like that. It's maybe a monthly update on his family. It's like his wife does it, right? She's very creative in crafts, that. She'll send us a letter and has in the mail. And it has just updates on what they're doing, on their kids and stuff like that, rather than post it all on Facebook, just like, hey, here's what's going on, and share your experience with us and all that. I thought that was pretty cool. Like I have no reason to keep them around. So I'll not shred them, but I'll put them in the recycle basket after a while. But it's nice to see the updates from other people who I was close with, like my boss, right? This guy was, again, retired lieutenant colonel, moved to Nebraska, just like great dude, just a all around great guy, man. And I'm happy to see his family's doing so well. Happy to see that. Yeah. And I'll tell you, John, man, I guess I'll kick it off for anybody who wants to share the best lesson they ever learned from their father. Especially today on Father's Day, right? One of the best things my father ever told me when I was growing up. So I'm first generation American. My parents moved here from out of the country, and they were not able to go to college. They didn't go to college because they came straight here to work, right? As most immigrant families do, right? Come here to work, potentially provide your kids a better life than you had. And there was times where I was like in middle school and high school, and I'd just be messing around, right? My grades weren't the greatest, and I actually sat down with my dad one time, and I can tell in his face that he was fuming. I had just gotten detention, because I was just doing dumb stuff in school. And he sat down there and he's like, I want you to think about this. Okay, think about how hard your grandfather worked to raise me, and how hard I worked to raise $1,000 so I can come to this country for a better life. And think about what you're doing with your life now. Okay, everything that we did, your whole lineage, resulted in you coming here and us potentially giving you a better life. And this is how you're spending it. This is what you're doing. So think about that. And I always do. I always think back to that conversation. Like your family didn't come this far. Your ancestry, your lineage didn't come this far for you to just mess around or make TikTok videos or whatever the hell you do. You do a little bit better than the last generation. And I have those conversations with my kids as well. Like I'm not trying to push you to do anything crazy, but understand that, I would love if you just one up me, if you just did a little bit better than I did. And I think that's every parent's wish for their kid. Oh, perspective. Oh,
sorry. Go ahead.
the reason I made my YouTube channel is for posterity. My son and his kids can watch me when I'm long gone, trying to stop cussing. It's hard. And Mo, I will give you that. Your live streams are very honest, very down to earth. I understand what you mean by the cussing. I have to stop it as well. But that I feel like that comes out as the genuine you. And I do appreciate that when I watch your live streams, as you have conversations about your day, your experiences, what's going through your mind, and that really does give perspective, as is your name, right? Full perspective. So I do appreciate that. Happy to be a subscriber to your channel.
Good morning, buenos
Man,
dias.
Yeah. Good morning. Blessed Father's Day to you, veterans and families. I love that, man. Love yourself, BJ4SI. Always comes through with that positivity, man. Every time he comes through. Ohio goes gozaimasu. So I'm curious. Love yourself. Are you right? Every time you come on here, are you rewriting that same thing, or do you have it like in a Word document? You just copy and paste and put it in there. Oh man.
3 flags.
Yeah, I love that. It looks like American, Puerto Rican, Japanese. All right. And Navy Cop. I love doing genealogy and learning about the family, especially the warriors in the family. Have information going back generations. You know, that is a great gift to give. You know, for a while back, I did that whole was it like 23andMe or something like that, trying to figure out, you know, where your lineage comes from, where in the world it comes from. And at one point, it was for Christmas, I had given the results to my siblings. You know, like, hey, here is like, I did the whole thing, and unless you're not, you know, unless the milkman got involved or something like that, we all have the same, like, you know, parents, right? So here is our lineage, and it was kind of eye opening. Like, whoa, I had no idea that this was that way. I had no idea there was like amounts of lineage to like Easter Island, you know, like the you know, Rapa Nui, you know, or lineage, ton of lineage in Spain, ton of lineages in South America. But then it uncovered this whole thing where it's like, man, I need to figure out where this comes from, you know, and there's this whole connection between South America and the Pacific Islands and all that stuff. And then I started reading about Kon-Tiki, which is Thor Heyerdahl's, this Norwegian explorer who did this whole project of taking a current from South America, and it ended up in the Pacific Islands. So it was pretty damn amazing. Yeah, exactly. No perspective. Same thing I tell my kid, I want you to be better than me. Absolutely. That is, I think that's the idea as parents, right? You love your kids, you want them to do better than you. So I put that, I don't know about you, John, but I put that out there for my kid. He's like, because, you know, Naval Academy, he's trying to go into the Naval Academy. And I'm like, hey, dude, I was a Chief Warrant Officer 3. And he's like, oh, Dad, you know, I mean, he could just be an ensign in the Navy and just outrank me at that point, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, Dad, what if I, yeah, exactly. Like, and I would, and I think about this all the time, you know, like as a father, as a military person, as somebody who's raising a kid who wants to join the service academy, this military academy. And I think about it all the time, how proud of a moment it is to be their first salute, right? And you know, usually with the first salute comes a coin, you know, like a coin, a silver coin. I did it for my first salute, you know, and then, you know, hopefully I'm his first salute, you know, if he chooses me, and how it makes me overjoyed thinking about that, man. It really does.
Yeah, I look at my kids now. I mean, there's one thing I want to say about it, right? It's like, I come from a half of a immigrant family. So my mom was an immigrant to the States, first generation. And,
The American dream, dude.
but yeah, but you feel it, right? I mean, there's definitely a difference between being an immigrant child and not an immigrant child, first generation American.
Yeah.
But there's this thing that's going on in my mind. I've thought about it deeply about, this kind of generational passing of the torch to the next generation, the kids. Why kids are wrapped up in their social media and wrapped up in their fashion and wrapped up in all their stuff. It's because they don't have the life that we lived, and we don't have the life that our parents lived, and they didn't have the life that their parents lived. So generationally, like, it's kind of like the stock market, right? It's not always on the upswing, but over time it's always an uphill, like a upward trend, right? So it
Right.
may dip in certain points along the way, but it's always generally going up. So when I look at it from that perspective, my kids, and they've had a pretty, I mean, even despite the divorce and all that stuff, like, they've had a pretty privileged life. And then as far as if and when and how they do better than me, like, I just look really specifically at what they're doing, how their demeanor is, what kind of integrity they have, those kind of markers that I look at when I look at my kids and see, beyond the superficial stuff that they're doing with their lives. And I really, it takes a really hard look, because of the fact that you can sometimes not look past that superficial stuff that they're doing, and you're just like, what are you doing with your life? Like, why are you just sitting around doing nothing? Why are you on your phone doing nothing? So you can look at it from that perspective, but the other perspective of it is looking at their integrity, who they are as a person. Do they open the doors for people? Do they say thank you and please and all these different things? And it just depends on generationally where you're raised. It's not literally built into the human, like, vocabulary, maybe in the States, but in other countries, in Italy and Germany and Spain and France, like, they please and the thank you is built in. The respecting your elders is built into the language. And you know that as well, right? I mean, speaking other languages, you know that some of that stuff is baked into the language. So looking at the integrity of them and how they do things, and I'm happy to say that at least since 16, 17, 18 is when I started to notice it. And I started to pay more attention to it and started to be less of a hard ass about, like, what are you doing on your phone? Why are you just playing video games all day? Like, rather than harp on that stuff, I try to look at it from that perspective and see. And I'm proud to say that my kids are both way better than I ever was, or probably will be, when it comes to that kind of thing. They're really solid kids, and they got a good heart, and they do the right things, and they make decent choices 90% of the time, versus me in that same age. I wasn't making decent choices 90% of the time at that age. So just from that perspective.
You and me both, dude. You and me both.
Yeah.
You and me both, man. Yeah, there was a well, I'll share that later. But the phone thing, always being on the games and the phones, that comes from, I think, setting the example too. Like, if your kids always see you on the phone, or on the computer, right? They will follow suit. So there was a conversation I had with my son, the 15-year-old. Now, I'm on the computer all the time, dude.
Right.
Like several hours a day. I'm trying for the sole fact, like, I don't like to be on it too much because it hurts my eyes, but for the sole fact that I'm trying to keep this 4.0 GPA in this master's program, I'm on it. Like, I'm reading stuff. I'm getting stuff done. And then we had a conversation. Dad, you're always on the computer. After I told him, hey, maybe you want to take a break. I'm like, but there's a difference, dude. I'm not watching brain rot. I'm not watching. I'm not watching. What is it? Shorts and all this trash. It might come across my screen every so often, but that's just the way I work. 10 minutes off, maybe 10 minutes on, during schoolwork, because I can't concentrate for more than 10 minutes at a time on a single task. I need to break it up, go walk, and then come back and revisit that. So that's the way it works. But setting the example, man, is huge, man, because they will follow the leader. Essentially, you're the leader in the parent, the father, or the mother, whoever it might be. You're the leader in the household, and they're going to follow suit. So, when in the mornings, I go out for a walk, or like a walk or run, usually like walking the dog or something like that, early in the mornings, 5:30, 6, during the week. And my boys will come back and like, hey, Dad, where'd you go? I was like, well, damn, I was doing a workout and wondering where you were, that type of thing. So that kind of got them off their behinds a little bit, and they're like, oh, okay, well, maybe we should do something too. And so my youngest was like, hey, Dad, can I come with you? I'm like, hell yeah, you can come with me. Let's go. Let's do this together. So just kind of setting the example. Not that I'm perfect or anything like that. I'm definitely not. I have extreme faults. And I don't know everything. It's just little by little. You live and you learn. I really understood, like, when I stopped working out so much, that's when I saw my kids kind of stop paying attention. Like, oh, maybe Dad's not on his workout thing anymore, so I guess we get the chance to chill.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, no, I can't do that. I can't do that.
Yeah. That and also, like, I try to, whenever I can, whenever I'm around my kids, because again, they live in Germany, I live in Italy. My son's actually coming soon to spend a couple weeks. He comes down once in a while,
Awesome.
more often than not, which is really awesome. Really, really awesome. And I try to also, when I was taking those 30-day leaves back and forth to Europe, I try to spend a lot of my time, because I had a very limited amount of time. I tried to spend a lot of my time also trying to see what my kids were doing. If they were playing video games, what video games were they playing? For what reasons? Were they spending time with friends? Was like the reasoning behind it. A lot of times it's because they're spending time with friends, and that's how they kind of bond and interact. And trying to put myself into their world as well, and trying to not just be the model and show them different ways of doing things based on my perspective, but also trying to do things from their perspective and look at what they're doing and see what they're modeling, and if it's a good model or a bad model, what they're gaining out of it, what's become of their behavior and the things that they're doing and why, just so I could better understand them a little bit. It changed my view of a lot of things over the years. Slowly, it took a long time, because I'm an old head and I'm set in my ways just like everybody else. But it took me a while to get to the point where I could look at that and step into their world once in a while, not just have them step in my world. It's beautiful when they do, when they step into your world and they want to be part of what you're doing and go on runs and do physical activities and go hunting and shooting and hiking. But when you step into their world, and also just helped me, at least, to kind of tighten that bond with my kids, because again, I didn't get to see them very often, still don't. But yeah, it was really it was a nice thing to be able to see that from their eyes, from their perspective, to understand better their world.
I love that, man. And I'm gonna take it back to what some of you mentioned, like the immigrant mindset and the courtesies and all that. I do recall, and I don't know if anybody else has this, and I don't know if they do this in when you grew up there, John, but in Hispanic cultures, when you enter a room, like, we would always go to family parties. I recall growing up, and every freaking weekend was like a get together with a ton of family, right?
Yeah.
And anytime I walk in there, I would have to go around and say hi to every single person in there. Shake hands, give my aunts a kiss on the cheek, give the handshakes to everybody. Hey, uncle, Tio, Tia, whatever it is. Just go around. And I was like, oh my God, like, I'd walk in the room like, shit, there's like 100 people here. Fuck, I got to go around to say hi to everybody. And you do the same thing when you leave.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to go around and say bye to everybody. That's just like the custom and courtesy that I grew up with. And so I had to show my kids that since they didn't kind of grow up with that. We're removed here in San Diego from my family in Florida. So we don't go to a lot of these family events, big family events. Every so often we do, but it's customary. You go up to, your aunts or your cousins or whatever, kiss on the cheek and things like that. And then, I have to show my kids that because they're not used to that,
Yeah.
Hey, it's customary. It doesn't mean anything like you're interested in your cousin or something like that. It just means like, hey, hello, kiss, just tap the cheek. That's it. And they're like, oh, this feels weird, Dad. I'm like, it might feel weird, but it's what we do. That's how you say hi. You go over there, you go to your uncles or your cousins, you go and press the flesh, give them a handshake, nice firm handshake, and stay away from this uncle over here because he'll freaking pinch the hell out of your cheeks until his fingers touch over your skin,
the cheekbone.
So yeah, that's it. Yeah. Want to give a shout out to Mario 3804. Hey Mario, happy Father's Day, everyone. Man, happy Father's Day to you, dude. Happy Father's Day.
So that is the ID patch.
Yeah, that is the Guatemalan brother from another mother right there, man. Dude's awesome. Dude's awesome. Yeah. So yeah, definitely make memories with your kids, man. I find that the military has made me like very stoic, and I don't know about anybody else out there, but I find it has kind of hardened me, and I hate bringing that home. I hate it so much bringing that home because it's hard to get away from the mentality. I have a lot of friends who are drill instructors, like drill sergeants, drill instructors, who had a very tough time turning that off. They're amongst these knucklehead boot camp recruits all day, and they come home to their kids who maybe don't have the room clean, and then that turns into something domestic, unfortunately, and they have a hard time turning it off, and I've had sit downs with folks about it, like, hey man, this is your family. Like, this is people who rely on you. And when they see you in this light, it's kind of scary for them, especially for kids. It's scary because they rely on you. So same way. And, even if you weren't a drill instructor, when I would come home and I'd see the room a mess and I'm like, oh, I get pissed, but then I take a breather. I'm like, well, is it that bad? I can just tell them to clean it up. It's not that bad, right? It's not. Do I want to psychologically mess this kid up over a couple toys on the floor? No, just be like, hey, dude, can you clean it up real quick? That's it. So it's hard to kind of turn that off from the military mindset to civilian or at home with your family. Let me see. Love Yourself says, I always write it out. Thank you, Vic and John, for your consistency in communicating valuable information. Well, I appreciate you coming through, man. This is great.
Love seeing you every week.
Yeah, and I didn't mean that you have a canned copy and paste thing on there. I was just curious because it seems so. You, my friend, are consistent as well. So I see it. I'm like, huh. Sometimes I forget. So this is great. I love that. Yeah, more perspective. Yeah, sometimes you have to make them go with you to do things. Usually they are glad they went. Yeah. So I will say that Costco is the one thing that they are happy to come with me and do, because Costco gives samples, like free samples and stuff, So I'm like, hey, I got to go to Costco and pick up some, whatever steak or chicken or whatever it is for the week. And like, oh man, I'm like, hey, you guys want to come? They're like, oh, samples, hell yeah, let's go. And and it's just, you got to make it fun for them, man. Got to make it fun for them, especially when they're smaller. Yeah, there you go. Mo perspective. I grew up speaking to people when you walk into their homes, or if a guest comes over, that's a non-negotiable. Yeah, exactly. You have to greet somebody, especially if it's in their home, right? You got to greet somebody. You can't, and that's part of teaching your kid values, customs, and courtesies, right? And keeping that going Because if you instill that in them, they're going to continue and potentially instill that into their kids. You know, like, this is how I was raised. They, you know, just pass it on, and it just keeps going, keeps going.
Yeah.
Costco's, I'm telling you, Costco's. Yeah.
That's one of the things that I really love about Italy. I see it more and more and more when I'm out and about. Is that kind of mentality with friends and family both. Just very say hi, press the flesh, kiss on the cheek. You know, it's normal behavior here across all the spectrum of family and friends. It's really good to see, and it makes me feel good about being here because I get to practice it every single day. In the States, when I was younger, it was once in a while. It was here and there. Here, it's when my mom wasn't standing there, it wasn't going on. But when she was standing there, she was like, "You give them a hug." I'm like, "Okay, got it, cool." But yeah, here it's prevalent everywhere. It's every day. It's part of everyday life. I love it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Wanted to switch gears really quick on this. I got a message or a comment over on the Green Logbook, and specifically it was about survivor benefits. So a while back, I made a video. Survivor benefits plan, SBP. Do you keep it or do you cancel it? Right. There's only certain times within after you retired that you can cancel SBP. If not, I guess you're stuck with it for life. You know, there's like within the second and third year, unless there's like a major event like a divorce or something like that.
Yeah.
But within your second and third year of retiring, or after 5 years, if you've had 100% PNT, I want to say those are two of the times that you can cancel SBP. And SBP kind of rivals the life insurance plan, right? Where there's a significant amount of money taken out of your account, allotted, out of your account every single month while you have it. And if you need it, like if you were to pass away, then your family gets a portion of your retirement pay, right? So for instance, like I think it's like $1,500 if you contribute like $250 a month or something like that. It's not a lump sum. It's like every month they get like $1,500, something like that. So is it enough to live on? I don't know. It depends, like, do they have other income coming in? I don't know. So this person here mentioned, I don't know if you're watching, his name is Jonathan Mackey, but he says, can I collect survivor benefits on my grandparents? He says, my grandfather was Vincent Mackey and my grandma was Oma Mackey on both. So I don't know Oma Mackey, but I did a quick bit of research on Vincent Mackey. And oh man, did I close it out? Let me see. So Vincent Mackey. Okay,
grandparents.
Yeah, it looks like his grandparents, but this guy Vincent Mackey says Private Vincent Mackey of Fremont killed in action at the Argonne Forest, October 7th, 1918, during World War I. Member of Company C, Machine Gun Battalion, 1st Brigade, 1st Division. And this shows there's a photo of a burial site on there. And so there's only a few ways that a grandchild can collect grandparents' survivor benefit plans, survivor benefit benefits. Okay, and just a quick overview, and this is coming from the Social Security Administration. A grandchild can only collect a deceased veteran grandparent's federal benefits, like a survivor's pension or DIC, that's dependent indemnity compensation. Under very strict circumstances, these generally require the grandchild to have been legally adopted by the veteran, or both of the child's biological parents must be deceased or disabled at the time of the claim. I don't know of this person's, situation past what he mentioned, but I mean, very strict guidelines if you want to connect survivor benefits pension from your grandparents. So I'll respond to his message, but just so people out there, if maybe you're wondering about that too, that is one comment I received, and haven't commented on it yet. It was like I just got it maybe like an hour or two ago. But very good question, though. By the way, very good question. I love the questions when it forces me to do research and check it out. So definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, and I want to, since we talk about this a ton on the show, I wanted to kind of bring this up. Let me get everything back to where it needs to be. I wanted to kind of bring this up and talk about this briefly. I'm gonna bring up the X thing just so you can see the meme, eye-catching. Yeah, X, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is U.S. Army WTF moments, which is they do a lot of memes about funny stuff that goes on in the military, mostly Army stuff, but they do also other branches of service kind of military funny stuff. And then every once in a while they dig into a topic that's a little less funny or a little bit more serious. And this one, if you haven't seen it, it's been in the news. It's been across the news cycles a few times. I've ran across it a few times on LinkedIn and some other stuff and commented on it myself. But this was basically a 3-star, and so it was Major General Roan, and then Senior Sergeant Major of the Army, speaking about senior leaders being able to take skill bridge or not take skill bridge. And basically they were saying in their comments that senior leaders shouldn't take skill bridge because they've already gathered the skills they need to be successful in their professional lives outside of the military. He wrote a great comment on it, or a great article on it. And I don't know if I can bring that up or not because it's blocked off. I can look, but I did copy the article and put it into like a notepad thing. And let me see if I can just pop it up there real quick. But basically what I wanted to do is talk about it real quick, because we talk about, skill bridge all the time. We just had, someone on the show not too long ago, and we were talking about skill bridge. And I mean, Jeff Migdal was on the show. He was a returning guest. He's getting ready to get out. He's secured his skill bridge. He is a senior leader in his branch. And, it's one of those things that you use to then position yourself for better opportunities, whether that's potentially going on board with that same company that you're doing the skill bridge with, or if it's just opening the doors and opening up some conversations with people to be able to network better, to expand, to figure out what that it might be a skill bridge in a field that you don't have any information about, you've never worked in before, but you're trying to feel it out and see if it's right for you, right? So there's multiple reasons why you would do a skill bridge. And in the case of Jeff, he's trying to basically line up his next job with the skill bridge. I think he said he's got like 90 days worth of skill bridge that he's allowed to take. Yeah. So, that coming from a senior leader, getting out of the military. And again, these are like, I don't want to downplay the people who are saying it. It's not about them. It's about the fact that you're a highest ranking senior level leader in the military, telling somebody who's a little bit lower ranked than you, maybe, that they can't do a skill bridge because of the fact that they're already senior leadership. They've been through whatever doctrine schools that they were gone through to teach them about being a leader and being, good with managing people and managing assets. But you're also a leader who's denying this, and you've never been out of the military, potentially, right? Potentially, probably not. If you're a you know, a general or a sergeant major of whatever branch. Like you've probably been in for more than 20 years, 25 years, potentially 30 years, potentially more. And you haven't necessarily worked on the outside, or at least not in recent history. So it's disheartening to hear that. And it's really just, it makes me a little bit sick to my stomach to hear it. This is the article, and I apologize if it's a little bit small. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. But basically, this is one of the guys from Army WTF Moments wrote this article about this, and you can read through it. I mean, it's a pretty long article, but he makes some good points in here. But my take on it is, again, if you're a general denying somebody who's say a major or a lieutenant colonel or, you know, a lieutenant commander, whatever rank you happen to be, a W3 or a W4, and you're saying you can't do skill bridge because you're already a senior leader, you've already got 20 years of experience. Like, we're not preparing people correctly to get out of the military, because it doesn't really have anything to do with leadership. It has to do with how you be a civilian employee in the civilian world. It's a completely different place than the military. Like, we can walk into any military installation, any military organization and be leaders. And that's pretty much straightforward across the board, no matter where you go. Even if you cross branches or do joint service work, you can step into a shop with people and get the job done, right? That's what we're trained to do. That's what we, and because of the fact that everybody in there speaks the same language, we all speak the same, even if it's Navy and Army and Marines and Air Force, and we speak a little slightly different language, but we figure it out really quickly, right? We get through the jargon kind of disconnect really quickly. The civilian world is like stepping into a whole nother dimension, and not just a whole nother dimension once. Like, every single civilian sector you step into is a whole nother dimension. It's a whole nother style of speaking. It's a whole nother culture, depending on what, you know, industry you go into, right? Right. So, and again, we've said it before, TAP is, you know, 3 days a week, 2 weeks tops. And it's fire hose, and it's not preparing you as well. And then to deny things like skill bridge, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And I would love to speak to these folks if they want to come and be on the show and talk about it, if they're watching or if they're paying attention, or if somebody says something to them that we said or I said to them about it. I would love to sit down and talk with them. I have all the time in the world to talk with them, but they're doing a disservice to every single individual down the chain. Because the other point that he makes, and I completely agree with this, and you've done some back work on this as well, is like the divide between an E8 getting out after 20 years versus a sergeant major of the Army getting out after 20 years versus a major general getting out after 20 years. Like the pay divide, just the pay alone, is really big. You're talking thousands and thousands of dollars in some cases. Yeah. So, you know, that makes the divide even more. And also the network of circles of people that you have contact with, and the connections that you've made as a sergeant major of the Army, or as an O2, or I'm sorry, a GO, it's vastly different than an E8 or an E7 or whatever getting out after 20 years. So, you know, you're set up to be a board member and set up through different organizations that are high level organizations. And, you know, you've got, and he had a couple of resources in there too, which are worth mention as well, but just wanted to throw that out there and love to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with, and I'll throw it out like this. When I was doing my skill bridge, when I was going to start the skill bridge, at the time, this is when skill bridge was starting to be introduced. It was fairly new, right? So they were like kind of still working through the whole program, allowing people to go for like 6 months at a time, right? Like, hey, yeah, we could be approved for up to 6 months, etc. Now, when I applied for it, I only asked for like 3 months of it, right? I'm like, I don't want to leave my unit for 6 months. The guy who's going to be here to replace me is not going to be even inbound or with the unit yet. So let me do 3 months, right? And after I started terminal leave, and of course the skill bridge didn't work out, right? So I just went on terminal leave and got a job. But then I got word that the skill bridge in my unit was being revamped, was being more restricted on the younger folks, like the first termers, people who are getting out, not retirees, right? And I'm wondering why. Why is it these are the people who need it the most, I think. The people who and even me as a chief officer 3, my network was probably not as big as a sergeant major of the Marine Corps or general officers, right? I know for a fact that it was not. But I can only imagine like how compared to my network, how much smaller the network was for maybe a corporal or a sergeant getting out at 4 years, So these are the people who really need it. And why were they being restricted on it? Tons of restrictions. So no, I agree. I agree with that. Like, do senior leaders really need it? I mean, it's a nice to have, right? Maybe get in with an organization. Um, I don't know that they really need it. The ones who really need it are the ones who maybe are getting out after 20 years and maybe who may have to work a little bit longer. Like that graphic that you put up there. A major getting out after 20 years versus and has to go back to work versus a sergeant major of the Army getting out after 34 years and maybe in his 50s or whatever, and just a few years away from collecting another, his pension, Social Security, whatever it is, right? Mind you, the pension's probably going to be a little bit higher for the sergeant major of the Army at 34 years versus a major at 20 years. So who really needs it at that point? Is it the major or the sergeant major of the Army? Who really needs it? It's going to be the major all day. The major needs it. The major is going to have to figure out where to live. He doesn't have the connections, doesn't have, the like the board member status, et cetera, that these other folks have. Is it always going to work that way? I don't think so. Because if you make it, I don't think that they would restrict it for people. There's too many people at the top that say, hey, look, we want this as well. We want to be able to use this as well. I don't know about the general officers taking skill bridge. I don't know of any who have done that, unless you have any or know of any. The enlisted side, I can say that there's a few like sergeants major or master gunnery sergeants who have done that. After 25, almost 30 years of service that I know of. So it's out there, but who really needs it the most?
Yeah. And that's kind of the point, right? Like why on earth would a 2-star or 3-star general need a skill bridge? And then I guess maybe that kind of underpins their reasoning of why they would be able to deny that for a major or, a lieutenant colonel or whatever. Coming from that kind of old school mindset, like, well, if I don't need it, then you don't need it because you've been as long as I have, and just because you're not a GO and I am, what I'm saying? I mean, that's what I gather. That's what I'm picking up from this whole conversation and this whole kind of news cycle about this. And it's just not right. Like it's, I feel like it's not really about getting the job skill upskilling in a skill bridge more than it is about learning how to be a civilian, learning how to be around civilians 24/7 for 3 months at a time. I'm dumping on retired majors. Sorry, I apologize for that. No, I'm not. But yeah, it's and I would love to hear your thoughts about this, Rich, as well. But yeah, it's that, and then it's just Yeah, it's really just learning how to be a civilian more than anything else, more than the upskilling, more than learning a new job, more than networking with a new group of people. It's literally like how to become a civilian. I mean, you know just as well as I do, and you came out and went straight into a job. I stayed out of a job for 3 years before I did any kind of job. I was literally jobless for 3 years. But even now, even today, learning how to be a civilian after so many years already being out, it's still not easy. It's still difficult to navigate those waters. It's still difficult to understand the mindset of an organization that you have to work with, or a group of people you have to work with, even if it's doing volunteer work, even if it's doing other kinds of, like, that's why we gravitate towards VFWs and these different service organizations and these different groups and of veterans, right? Is because we understand them. We're not working with UNICEF. You know what I'm saying? We're not we're not partnered with UNICEF. We're not partnered with a lot of civilian organizations because of that, because we don't understand them.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say, I partly understand why they were denying a lot of the first termers getting out on, denying their skill bridge, or at least severely limiting them. I had a Marine, a sergeant who, first term Marine, right, getting out, and he requested, at least it came through my desk, and I was like the first person, between after his staff NCO, after the gunny signed off saying recommendation or not, he walked into my office and he's like, "Hey, sir, this guy's this Marine is wanted to do skill bridge. He's about to go terminal leave and all that stuff, and he wants to try this thing out." I'm like, "Okay, well, I approved him, right?" But then it also kind of opened my eyes to like how much actual time these people spend in the fleet, meaning like at outside of training environments and in their job, right? In my MOS, it was like you had to do, after boot camp, you got to go to Marine combat training, which is like 2 months long, and then you got to go to your MOS school, which is another another 2.5 months or something like that, and that's 4.5, almost 6 months there. That's gone,
Yeah.
right? Out of a 4-year contract. Then you do that. You go to your first duty station. You've got 3 years, 6 months left. Then you ask on the back end for 6 months of skill bridge. Your 4-year contract has now gone down to 3 years, because you're asking for this time off, and then you've done all this training on the front end. So the Marine Corps really only gets 3 years out of you out of a 4-year contract. And that was kind of brought to light when we had a kind of an officer and staff NCO meeting at one point regarding the skill bridge and like the ins and outs of it all. And they were saying, yeah, it's very hard for the command to want to approve this stuff for the younger generation, the younger folks, because we are not getting the full spectrum of the 4-year contract out of them. You're actually letting them go for like 6 months early. So you're only getting 3 years, really 3.5 years out of them. Different ways to look at it. Yes, you are getting 3.5 years out of them. However, the idea with this is putting a good, solid civilian back into the community.
Exactly.
You don't want to have a disgruntled person who feels like they got shafted by the military back in, the civilian world. You want to put a good product out there, a good upstanding citizen. And part of that, I think, is actually getting them trained or giving them the opportunity to get trained in a civilian career. So there's two ways to look at it. I kind of understood it when it was brought to me, like, hey, yeah, they only get 3.5 months out of this, or 3.5 years. But also, I mean, what happens if they don't get trained up on something? Half these dudes, don't have anything to fall back on. They're going to go back to their old life, back on the block per se, potentially become homeless. Give them an opportunity to learn something outside of what they're actually doing in their Marine Corps career or their military career. that part, like I kind of advocated for that, and I signed off this dude's stuff, this sergeant stuff. Like, hey, yeah, if you want to take 6 years or 6 months, that's fine, as long as you got somebody to take over your stuff while you're gone, you know. And he explained the whole, like he kind of sold it to me, right? He's like, yeah, sir, I got these people, I got this guy, my replacement's not coming in until this month, you know, but I got these two who are doing my job, taking over. I'm like, okay, as long as we got things good to go, right? I signed off on it, but it got disapproved when it got sent up to the command.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, oh, it's 6 months is too much. You know, we can do 89 days. I'm like, 89 days? Like, what's he going to learn in 3 months? I mean, I don't know. I have different ways of thinking about it. I think that putting a good product out in the community is essential.
Yeah. I mean, not only that, you're also, on some level, you're also influencing your recruiting for the next generation of people coming into the military. And not because of the fact that they can come in for 3 years and get 6 months of training. I mean, they already know a lot of that stuff when they come in, but that, and then there's the fact of the matter that out of those 3 years, 3.5 years that you spend on active duty, how much of that time are you actually in your job doing your job versus doing staff duty and CQ and runner and whatever other, you know, what was one of the things that he mentioned in the article, or maybe it was a comment, sweeping rain, mopping rain, mopping wet steps in the rain.
Just the nonsense that they make you do. Yeah, and that's true. I mean, that you take all that stuff away, and it's closer to 3 years now, right?
Yeah.
Or 2.5 years. So you don't really have too much like MOS credibility, and then they had to spend more money on training somebody else up who potentially is going to want to do the same thing. So, you know, it just kind of works backwards a little bit. Now you got somebody who did 20 plus years, 25 years, whatever it is. They could very well need skill bridge if they wanted to get into an actual career, maybe outside of their MOS, and that's fine. That's I agree with that. I don't know that a general officer needs skill bridge. I don't know that a sergeant major of the Army or Marine Corps needs skill bridge. You know, I don't think they do. It's not for them. Am I going to be able to change that? Nah. But
nah. Well, it's also not for them to be like, well, we don't need it, so you don't need it. That's bullshit. That's a bullshit answer. It's the most bullshit, like send it in answer that I've ever heard and continue to hear. And it's 2026.
Coming from somebody who's never retired before, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
You don't know how hard it is right there. You have, you know, all your stuff is set. It's tough. It's tough out in the civilian world, man. If it just spend a few minutes on the veterans channel on Reddit, and you'll see how tough it is out there.
Yeah,
you'll see. James Lytle, I was med boarded and should have been fired from every civilian job after that. I was a great worker, so I never was. That's good, man. Yeah, you show your worth, people are going to notice. Excellent. Non-veteran bosses suck in my craw.
Stuck in my craw.
Oh, stuck. Oh man, never mind. No, yeah, it's you definitely see the difference between veteran bosses, non-veteran bosses when you get out. My first boss when I got my first job was a Navy lieutenant. It was this lady, very, very fiery lady, right? Like very, like just wanted to get stuff done. And I appreciated that, you know, very much spoke like a sailor. So, at some point, and you know, and me like being a Marine at some points in time, I'd be sitting there on my computer. I was like, damn, did she really just say that shit? You know, but very good worker, you know. So you really get to see like the difference. And then people who are not military and potentially like your bosses, then you really, there's a big contrast between both of those. You really get to see both sides of that. Yeah, so I agree with that. I agree with that. Let me see here. Navy cop, when I got out, you earned your job skills the old-fashioned way, walking 6-foot deep snow up both hills. Escape any skill development program is a loss regardless. Yeah, well, a Navy cop walking in 6-foot deep snow, huh?
Get out of
At
here.
that point, you can't walk through that. You got to swim through that stuff, man. 6-foot deep snow. Come on now. Oliver Rust, welcome, Oliver Rust. Good to have you. Good to have you. Yeah, man. So great stuff on this topic today, man. Kind of touched on a whole lot. Touched on the Father's Day thing. Happy Father's Day to everybody out there who's joining us. Today's your day, and spend time with family, and if you have contact with your kids, call your kids. Talked a little bit about VA updates and just family and life after service. It's not always easy. But where a lot of us are in this together. So you have somebody to turn to ask questions to, and potentially bounce ideas and thoughts off of. Talked about who brought it up? Navy cop, the VA home loan partial claim program.
Yep.
So definitely going to be looking that up here. Kids, Chapter 35. If you have a high schooler using Chapter 35, that is going away August 1st. So stand by. August 1st of 2026. So stand by on that. Be on the lookout for AI channels that are utilizing veteran channel transcripts and backgrounds. They're out there. They're stealing from veteran channels, and maybe don't follow those channels. I don't know, because they're doing word for word what other veterans have put time and effort in creating. So they're stealing. Not a big fan of that. Navy cop says, what? Speak like a sailor? You mean intelligently and with forethought? Oh, yeah, absolutely. She was. Yeah, absolutely. As military, we're taught and looked to solve problems that appears to be failing working for civilian bosses. Yeah, dude, I was MacGyver when I was working, when I was in uniform. They're like, dude, we need to figure this out. I'm like, all right, grab me that paper clip. Give me that possum spine. Yeah, give me that possum spine over there, and that dental instrument, and I can have this thing fixed really quick. So, yes. Okay, I'm reading this. Transitioning to another chapter for military service members and their families should first and foremost. They will remember and appreciate it. Semper Fidelis. Yeah. They really appreciate. Of course, anybody appreciates that, right? When you take care of them, when you think about them, right? It should not be about the person approving. It should be about the end result for the person who is about to embark on this freaking choppy, wavy journey that is military to civilian transition. It's tough. And if you give them a kick in the gut on the way out, you think that's going to make them feel good? Yeah, no.
It's about the net positive.
Oh, yeah. I'm getting texts from old friends, old Marine Corps buddies from back in the day. Happy Father's Day. I have a buddy who moved away, and he's like itching to come back. He's like, dude, I don't know why I moved out of San Diego. I need to come back over there. Where he moved is not the same. So, yeah, if he can make it, he can make it. Maybe, Cobb, I've gotten into minor trouble trying to solve problems that were out of my pay grade in my current job, and it's minor issues that are taken away for too long to solve by civilians. Frustrating. It is frustrating, isn't it? When you have a way to solve the issue and they're holding you back from solving it because you have to go through certain channels. That's the military mentality, man. Just figure out a way and get it done. Adapt, improvise, and overcome. And I hate when trust me, Navy cop, I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. I was at one point, I was in a meeting, and I thought it was when I first came on to a certain job, and the meeting was around getting a result and achieving some kind of end result. And everybody was kind of saying their piece and all that. I'm like, all right, I don't understand. Like, why can't we just go into this dude's office and ask him, hey, this is what we need? Oh, no. I can't do that. Like, he's an SES. There's different channels. I'm like, well, stop. Then nothing's ever going to get done.
So I can change the channel. Give me the remote so I can change the goddamn channel.
Yeah,
Jesus
like
Christ.
nothing's ever going to get done at this point, like let's hit this thing head on and move forward. Dude, why the hell are we having a meeting about this shit? Let's move forward. All right. Standing by. Anybody else got any saved rounds on anything we covered today? Any VA home loan partial claims program, the kids chapter 35, AI channels kind of taking over the veteran sphere on YouTube, or maybe the best lesson learned that you ever got from your father or your parents growing up? Saved rounds. Put them in the comments here. Let me see. We talked a little bit about the phones, right? Setting the example as a father, putting down the phones, putting on the iPad, whatever you use, and being actually present in front of your family. And then customs and courtesies, passing that down to the next generation. Let me close these blinds real quick. My corneas are about to burst. There we go. It's all about feelings and not solving problems. Definitely don't live in that world. Yeah, dude, just get it done, dude. I hate how everything has to be like a certain way. Just, hey, let's figure out how to do this and move forward. Funny. Feelings. Funny. Yeah. So I'll tell you, man, this Wednesday, I'll be doing another trivia night. It seems to be pretty good. It seems to be going pretty well. A lot of engagement in all this. I maybe won't be doing like 50 questions because after I finish talking, I just like my voice is hoarse for the rest of the night. So maybe I won't do 50 questions, maybe like 30 or so. Keep it nice and light. What else? Got some more videos coming out, both on the Green Logbook and the other channel I have, Vic creates content on. People have been asking about sponsorships and stuff like that, and how and finding your niche. And I plan on talking a little bit about that. So it's not easy to find what you want to talk about on YouTube if you're looking to create a YouTube channel, but I think I figured that piece out. So look out for that one if you do follow the channel. Not saying you should. If you want to, do your thing. Yes, Oliver Rust, Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific time. I'll be doing the live stream of the trivia. Not sure what I'm going to do it this time around about, but got a lot of good feedback on what people are saying. Weapons and equipment. Somebody said slogans and sayings, military movies and pop culture. So potentially that should be fun. Yeah, so far every Wednesday doing that, unless I have something else going on. So we will see. We will see. Aside from that, John, what you got, man?
That's it, man. I mean, 2 hours and some change. It's a good little session. Some conversations, some rants. I want to rant about one more thing before we go.
All right, do
Just
it, man.
one
What do you got?
more finishing rant. Let me just do
What
this
do you
real
got?
quick.
Remember we're live, so you can't
I
take
don't
it away.
Okay. I don't care if we're live. This is the reason why you shouldn't watch the news and at least keep up with all the news cycles. I saw this and I started to throw up in my mouth a little bit when I saw it. And I'll just bring it up the screen real quick. Nearly 160 sick with flu at U.S. Air Force Base after Hexeth ends mandatory vaccines. Okay, so that's all I'm going to read of this article. That's all you're going to get. Listen, one cycle, and I don't even, so like, when did we just end this mandatory flu shot thing? I don't know, within the last 3 months? 6 months? How long has it been? You got to fact check me.
Probably
Vic.
about that time. Yeah, probably about that.
Okay, so that's that. And then this article literally came out last week, and it's in Texas, and it's in June. So who the hell's getting flu in Texas in June? Based on a flu shot that's just got canceled recently within the last 6 months, maybe. Either way. This is the dumbest news article I've read this week. We should make a segment of this show called the dumbest news articles I've seen this week. This is definitely the dumbest one, and it just goes to show you, like, don't watch the news cycle. And most of the stuff, 70% of the stuff, this one really grinds my gears. No, seriously, like, this article makes zero sense. Absolutely zero sense. I'm glad that they are not making the flu shots mandatory anymore. Hopefully that applies for civilians as well. I think it does either way. Whether Hegseth made it mandatory vaccines end or not, I think is irrelevant. I think it's irrelevant that 160 people got sick with flu in the Air Force in a base in Texas in June. So yeah. That's my gripe. Worst news article of the week.
So when did he end the mandatory flu vaccine? Because I'm reading it right now, and I kind of heard about this, but I don't read too much of the news because it's just kind of
so it
you
says
don't know
just
what to believe.
Yeah, it says outbreak comes just weeks after the defense secretary ended mandatory flu vaccines for the military, citing the need for bodily autonomy for service members. So this is probably within weeks. So let's just call it May 1st, end of April, something like that.
So it does say an influenza outbreak has reportedly sickened more than 150 recruits in training at Lackland Air Force Base. Now, recruits, you're in close quarters, right? Things are going to get passed on.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, I got
like
sick when I was in, yeah, exactly. I got sick when I was in boot camp. I got like pneumonia or something like that. I don't know. Then I had to get my wisdom teeth pulled out, I think, or a tooth pulled out. So like your things are going to happen. Yeah. Things are going to happen. Right.
Yep.
So, I kind of on the fence on it. Like, yeah, I mean, I understand why they got sick because they're freaking recruit training or boot camp.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's just
here's what I got.
The cause and effect is disconnected. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? It's like the cause of it and the effect of it is completely disconnected.
Yeah. Here's what I got about all this new stuff. And here's why I stay away from all this. Really. I'll read little spurts of things here and there, but nothing like too much in depth because it really, after a while, it really kind of gets to me. Everybody's got their own agenda on what they want people to believe. Right. And it's hard if you stick to one thing, that is what's going to take over your life. That's what is going to change your mind. That's what's going to stick in your mind. When I did read a lot of the news, I would read a lot of different networks because I like to know different perspectives about different things, right? Like, hey, if this person's saying this, what is the other person saying it? Are they even mentioning it, right? Yeah, things are getting taken out of proportion. Yeah, the headline is like, wow, nearly 160 sick with flu at U.S. Air Force Base after Hegseth ends mandatory vaccines. Let's explain, though, that it's during basic training, and
Yeah.
that happens to freaking everybody. I'm not saying that everything that everybody's doing right now in the world or in the United States is freaking great, because I have some opinions about all this stuff, but I'm also saying not everything is as it seems. So don't trust the person who is friggin' spreading some kind of news on Facebook about somebody else's post that they just freaking made up, and everybody's spreading it like, oh my God, have you seen this? Well, where did it originate from?
Yeah.
It's somebody I could write something right now and put it on Facebook, and it'll go like it'll spread like fire.
Yeah.
And people just run with it.
Well, also to your point, like checking other news outlets and other media outlets to find out what other people are saying. They're all saying the same damn thing. That's the problem. Everybody's repeating everything that everybody else is saying. It's not like there's one news, outlet that's telling a different story. At least not that I've seen. I don't know which news outlets you potentially looked at before. I don't follow them, but just the headline alone made me click into it to be like, initially I looked at it and I was like, this doesn't make any sense. And then I clicked on it to read the article just to see how much sense it didn't make. And I feel like I'm pretty right on this one. This is kind of dumb. And it just reinforces for me, like, stay away from the news. Especially nonsense.
Unless it affects me, my family, or my immediate area here.
Yeah.
Dude, like I've mentioned before in the past, man, I look outside, I see the neighbor mowing his lawn. I see kids riding their bike, playing ball. Like, life goes on as normal here. Everything that's happening that's like everybody's pissed off about is happening in one little corner of the United States, right? I mean, there might be speckled here and there, does it affect you like directly? Maybe if like you're trying to pump your gas and shit, something like that. But
no,
I mean, sometimes you can't, it's hard to accept these things, but it's like you can't directly change it right now. So choose what you want to be pissed off about.
Yeah.
Because if you get pissed off about everything, you're wasting your life away. You are, dude. When I started reading all this new stuff and seeing like all this BS come through, and I was just getting pissed off about things. And then at that point in time, I knew, like, why am I letting this affect my life? Just get off it.
Yeah.
Life is too short to be pissed off about all this stuff that I literally cannot change right now.
Yeah.
Anything I do right now will not change flu in the Air Force or what I pay at the gas pump right now, like things I'm doing right now with my family here. So yeah, I like that you brought that up, John, because I'm not a big fan of really any news outlet.
I'm a zero fan of news, really, and even especially the ones that come up and say breaking news. Well, but like, I love to see it because I love to be aware of what's going on, but I definitely don't want to be a part of it. And I bring this article up and brought it up because of the fact that I just wanted to reinforce, like, there's a lot of nonsense out there. We've talked about AI, we've talked about cloning channels. This is just another kind of facet of that. That really is something you should avoid if you want to keep your mental health intact.
So who should you listen to?
You should listen to Vic and John McConnell on the Military Retirement Podcast or the Green Logbook, streaming everywhere online, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. You should check us out on a weekly basis on Sundays or on Wednesdays if you want to get into game night. You should like and subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends. If you enjoy what we're doing, We love having you here. We love spending time with you. We really, really, truly enjoy the comments and the conversations and the camaraderie of all the folks that come on this journey with us.
Absolutely. I was waiting for you to say that. I was hoping that you said that because I'm like, I didn't want to have to correct you there, John. I didn't want to have to correct you. Yeah. Who should you listen to? Stay away from all the other BS all over online. Come hang out with us on the Military Retirement Podcast, the Green Logbook, and all the other places where we're kind of doing all our stuff. Real quick, I want to give a quick shout out to American Fidelity Life Insurance before we go. Awesome group of folks who are doing some awesome things with life insurance. If you're a veteran, if you are still in uniform looking to get out and looking for life insurance, definitely check them out. And let's see, we're working on some other sponsorships. It kind of keeps the things going here. So if you know anybody who may want to link up with either the Green Logbook or Military Retirement Podcast, maybe somebody, maybe a coffee shop, maybe somebody who is, I don't know, military to civilian related, let us know. Let us know, and we would be happy to have conversations with them and team up with them. So it's been a pleasure. It's been a blessing being here again, to wake up one more day, to be able to do this with you all, to be able to hang out with you, John, to see all the familiar names in the chat, maybe Cop, Oliver Russ, James Lytle, all the folks, Mo Perspective. I appreciate that. I know I'm missing a ton of folks, but I wish I could get everybody a shout out. However, you know who you are. If you're here, you're family. Isn't that Olive Garden? When you're here, you're family. When you're here, you're family. You know?
I hope not. We don't need any copyright dings.
No,
thank you.
No, really. But when you're here, you're part of the live stream family here. So we really do appreciate you all. Before we go, I wanted to see some of these last minute comments here. James Lytle with the barracks crud, absolutely. Navy Cop, how can I maintain my surly, grumpy attitude with you constantly being positive and upbeat? Well, good stuff, man.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Penicillin, and I'm done. Yeah. Over 25 years active, never got sick once. Yeah.
As soon as I retired, sick all the time.
Yeah, sick all the time. Rip through carry-on deployment. Oh no, nasty. Yeah. Let's see, just going through some of these comments here. How many people I put together video mosaics of multiple different newscasters from stations all over the place, reiterating the same talking points, makes you really wonder. Dude, it's the same thing over and over, man. It's the same thing over and over. Reiterating talking points verbatim. Real journalists are probably extinct.
Not yet.
You can get a wardrobe update sometimes too. I don't know. Is that directed at me? I don't know. Damn. Carry on smartly. James Lytle, man. Yeah, definitely. Thank you for joining us. And if you are just joining us, you've hit the end of the live stream. We really appreciate everybody coming through. Had a lot of great topics. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Go out and do some great things. Talk to your families. If you have contact with your kids, talk to your kids. Just have a good time today. Today is your day. Really appreciate everybody coming through.
Thanks, everybody.
With that, out here.
Out here.